And we would like to now call on Anna Hidalgo, Mayor of Paris.
Permettez-moi de...
First of all, allow me to say that I'm delighted and honoured to be with you today, and of course I would like to thank the Holy See for this invitation extended to us mayors to a truly historic event. And I would also like to thank the Mayor of Rome, Ignazio Marino, for having shared his thoughts on the challenges lying ahead, modern slavery and climate change. I would like to start with a quote. A few years ago, Diouf, former president of Senegal and former president of the international French-speaking organization, described a meeting that he'd had with Pope John Paul II, and Pope John Paul II on that occasion said human societies must be made to the measure of men, and this is what mayors must do. And I thank you for having involved us in this global challenge. It is only if we look at the human dimension that we can successfully tackle and overcome these problems. We know that environmental degradation and social degradation are both due logic of commoditization of objects, of natural resources, human beings, organs, and the only law is that of immediate gain or market laws. We know that respecting our planet, our common heritage, also means respecting the men and women who live on this planet. The current crisis is consequently global. It is economic, social, and environmental, but it is also a moral crisis, crisis of civilization. I believe that solutions can be sought at all levels. We have to raise awareness at a global level. We have to continue to work on moral issues, and this is something, of course, that the Church does. Operate at a local level. The Church has decided to tackle these matters in a comprehensive way, and it really has an extraordinary strength in promoting awareness of globalization and acting as the conscience of globalization. Political and religious leaders must have a fruitful dialogue to work together, and the mayors mediators, and obviously we are in the front line so that things may change. It is essential for us to change our lifestyles, simply put, and we have to change our way of producing, of moving, and we have to change our mindsets. We have to have an approach based on this. The city of Paris has embraced this environmental mission. We have implemented a number of concrete solutions in order to build buildings differently, to develop different heating systems, to ensure that council housing is available to those who can't afford to live in a city. Implemented a number of concrete measures in order to change our consumption patterns so as to produce in a different way and recycle waste. And I know that many cities represented here have done the same. One of the main challenges is air pollution, and the fight against air pollution is one of our top priorities, as many mayors have done, and we know that this is true of Rome. We have introduced a number of bans on private cars, and traffic control measures are in place, and we want to make sure that we can increasingly use energy recovery, and systems. Our approach as a city is interesting. We look at this link between the economic, employment and social issues, and we want to reduce our impact. We want to have a fair economy which promotes recycling and avoids waste, and we know that 10% of employment is is accounted for by the so-called circular economy. And I must say that many young people are involved in this process. Many under the age of 30 are very actively involved in this sector of the economy, which obviously generates employment, but also has an important moral and ethical value. And Paris, as you know, will be hosting COP21, the climate conference in December, and we obviously are committed to making the necessary decisions to address these issues. And as you know, on the 4th of December, mayors from all around the world will be coming to Paris to join in this struggle against climate change, and you're all welcome to join us. The Secretary General will be attending, and we know that are the main source of pollution cannot say to developing countries at this conference, well, we have used and extensively exploited our planet's resources, and now you have to try and save these resources. Well, this is not acceptable. We have to obviously promote renewable energy use, and in so doing, we can transfer these technologies to a number of developing countries. And I would like to, for instance, add that with networks of cities, and I see representatives of networks of cities, we have to also make sure that we can promote this decentralized cooperation at a local municipal level in order to step up this transition. Obviously, the environmental questions that have to be addressed can be successfully solved only if we take a global approach, and this is true of human trafficking, prostitution. These are all matters that have an impact on our cities and that are very present in our cities, and we have to adopt a new approach. We cannot accept the commoditization of the human body, the exploitation of human beings. We cannot allow this form of trafficking to continue, and I committed to this, and I pay tribute to the Holy Father, who hopes that an international authority may be established for the fight against human trafficking. We see the signs of this in Europe, with the mayor of Rome, Ignazio Marino, and with the mayor of Athens. We have recently denounced the situation of migrants who are fleeing wars, and I obviously am thinking of the Christians in the who are being persecuted, and we also have many economic migrants from sub-Saharan Africa, Italy, Greece, Paris, to a lesser extent, are the first port of entry for these migrants, and we cannot be satisfied with the way in which they're being treated. We don't want Europe to continue to debate these matters in a totally inappropriate fashion. We're talking about redistributing 45,000 migrants, but in fact there are millions who are approaching the shores of the Mediterranean, and we want to hope that the European Union will involve mayors in this effort to welcome these migrants and guarantee adequate reception. We know it is difficult because the world that they are in is characterized by a crisis. We know that there are totalitarian ideologies in place that discriminate human beings on the basis of race or religion, and we know that mayors must ensure that not only can we convince our populations that they have to accept this duty of humanity, and we must also, at the same time, guarantee safety, security, and harmony in our cities. I would like to conclude by saying that this is something that we do in very concrete terms in a city such as Paris, providing support to migrants with associations such as Emmaüs, CIMAT, and we also assist those who are victims of human trafficking and have been forced into prostitution. We give them shelters so they can turn their lives around. The challenges ahead are enormous, and I would like to end by quoting Ivan Illich, who is a man who cared deeply about his environment. He says that we can build this world, allowing each community to continue to choose their utopia. This is a message of peace. Peace is an art, as Pope Francis said. It is also a sign of optimism that mayors believe in. And as peace is an art, let us be its artists or makers of peace. Thank you.